Honorable Mayor, Council members, my name is Ersoy. I live in Cupertino, 1320 Primrose Way. I would like to discuss tonight some of the alternatives on the profile issue. As it is pointed earlier, there are two issues. One is the profile, the other is the traffic. Vern will be discussing the traffic issue. Second of all, we are pro-85. We are willing to take our burden no more, no less than any other neighborhood. We are willing to do our civic duties, but we don't want to be pushed around. In particular, when we are dealing with the profile issues, we would like to state the following facts. We are proud of our neighborhood, and we want to maintain our way of life. We don't want to lose property values. But more importantly, we want a solution which is consistent with our self-image. We have a criteria to determine the different alternatives. The criteria is fairness. We want to have the solution fair. We define fairness as the amount of burden that we, the South Cupertinos, have to take compared to other neighborhoods are willing to take. Mr. Mayor and the council members, what we have over here is a problem between two cities. You were supposed to make a decision, but that decision is based on the information that you receive and the community input. If you receive wrong or misleading information, or if you don't get any input from the community, then of course you could not make a decision. What we are trying to do here is, first of all, give the community's input. And we have a lot of people over here that they say they would like to have the highway depressed, and they would like to have a solution to a traffic problem. In addition to that, I will try to explain some of the alternatives that we came, and explain why we are getting the short end of the stick. Just look at this intersection, please. You are being told that somehow God created Saratoga, Sunnyvale, and Prospect intersection such a way that we will be somehow disadvantaged. We will be somehow penalized, and the Saratoga people are not. Look at the solution that the Saratoga gets at Prospect. They have no interchange. Furthermore, their highway is completely depressed. But when it comes to Saratoga, technician says, we can't do it. They are not that far apart. Floodplain problem. They are in the same floodplain. If one of the flood arms run one direction, as Richard indicated, it is man-made, it could be diverted through Prospect. Prospect is under floodplain just as much as Saratoga, Sunnyvale. You can take that flood water, go through this Prospect and dump it to the other side of the highway, if that is what needs to be done. I am not a civil engineer. I am an engineer, but not a civil engineer. But at least I can use my logic. We were told that we cannot go under Saratoga, Sunnyvale. It cannot be done. That was the statement. Engineers solve problems based on the constraints that they are given to them. Based on the constraints that they are given to them, they might have some justifications making such statements. As an engineer, I could see why they might make such statements. But if you change the constraints, then the problem might go away, and you might have a completely different solution. And that is what I intend to show shortly. But the bottom line is that we want a depressed highway, not a depressing one. Now I will go through some of the alternatives. This was the original alternative. I'm sorry, my drawing may not be very good, but I think it will give you the general idea. The proposal that was made at Prospect High School was that the highway was going to go over Saratoga Sunnyvale, over the creek, and then go under Prospect. In our neighborhood, the highway was proposed to be 25 feet above ground, and then another 10-foot sound wall heading up to 35 feet. So when you looked at the structure, it looks like 35 feet. Now, there are some pictures out there shows how nicely 35 feet highway would look. Well, for one, I don't like it. What were the advantages and disadvantages to this proposal? Well, Saratoga got away with murder. Engineering-wise, it was an easy solution. That bump, 35 feet bump, was a good place to put Saratoga dirt. The problem with that design was that we wouldn't buy it. This would have been the most desirable solution. Take the highway under Saratoga Sunnyvale, under the creek, under the Prospect, and everybody will go home happy. But the Caltrans says they never done such a thing before, and they don't want to start a new fashion now. Fine. Richard says there might be other ways. This is just a symbolic presentation. We believe this is a viable solution, but technical people say they cannot do it. I'm not a civil engineer. This would have been an excellent solution. But traffic authorities said that they cannot build it, and they explained to me. And it makes sense with the constraints that they put. They say they have to go under Prospect. That is given. They have to go Calabasas Creek. That is given. And they are going to design a highway for a 70-mile-an-hour speed limit. That is given. Based on all those constraints, what should the traffic authority engineer supposed to do? They cannot go under the Saratoga Sunnyvale under those circumstances because of the curvature of the highway, they say. That is how the geometry is. The problem with that is that they take it as a given that they have to go under Prospect.